as the chakram turns. I'm Bryn.
I am confused, but also I am Helen. I hope you're here to enjoy the chaos, because that is all you're going to get.
Well, that's what we're good at.
Yeah.
Am I gonna topple your tower?
You might. Oh, you'll be able to better read your notes than I was last time. I had no idea where your train of thoughts were going.
I never know where my train of thoughts are going. They don't have a good station.
Alright, so we are discussing Xena, our Season 2, Episode 18, The Executioner. 18 is a number I pulled out of my butt, by the way. I don't think it's the right number.
It's 17.
Oh, it's 17.
Yes, because we watched 18 last night.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
And it's called The Execution.
Oh, The Execution.
Yeah. There's a difference.
The Claw. This one's a weird episode that neither one of us really liked. So it's going to be an interesting take.
I mean, so we start off with Xena and Gabrielle traveling, and Gabrielle going on and on and on about Meleager.
Babish! Sorry, Babish interruption. Sorry, that was, YouTube does an autoplay. It wasn't, okay, carry on.
Anyways, so Gabrielle's going on and on, retelling the tales of adventure of Meleager the Mighty. And Xena, with some jealousy showing.
A little bit of jealousy. But I think
like
more
playful
general
jealousy.
I think more general annoyance that she hadn't stopped talking about this guy. I relate to that. When somebody just goes like on and on and on and on and on and on about someone, and you're like, I'm glad you like this person, but could you shut up?
And because they got summons from Meleager saying, come quick. They have a little fight. Because they go into this town where Gabby's like, we're looking for Meleager, and you're friends of Meleager, and they go into a fight. And she's like, no, we're friends of Meleager. Will Xena's going, yeah, I don't think not hearing you was the problem.
Yeah. She's like, I actually think the Meleager part was the problem. Actually.
And so as the episode progresses, and I would say slowly, it seemed to just...
Okay, well, first we got to start with the reason why they were there, which was because Meleager was thought to have killed somebody the year before, when he was drinking again, after promising Gabrielle he wasn't going to drink anymore.
Yes.
There's like a whole line of like weird storylines that could have been good but aren't good because they just half-assed them.
Yeah.
Because I get that we skipped the Meleager episode last season, so I really didn't remember Meleager at all.
Oh, see, I actually do remember Meleager because I know exactly what happened that episode.
I'm glad you do.
Listen, I owned season 1, and that was the only one I owned for the longest time, so that's the one I rewatched a lot.
But yeah, they could have gone more with his alcoholism, and they didn't. Like,
No.
it was just...
Yeah, it was a thing.
It was a thing, and she was so deeply upset that he had drank again. And it was just like a weird dynamic. But I think in the 90s, that's kind of just how that shit was played. I don't think people really went too far seriously for actual addiction, things like that.
Well, no, we don't talk about things in the 90s.
It's just there was a lot more good stuff, and it was a lot of focusing on Gabrielle just talking herself into trouble over and over and over again because she couldn't keep her mouth shut and just listen to the situation. She was making judgments on the entire situation before she even had information about it.
Yep, was making calls and deciding on things without listening to other possibilities.
Yeah.
And truly having some...
It took a lot of work for Xena in this episode to just be...
Not beat her.
Yeah, she was super understanding because Xena did not trust Meleager at all. Just knowing her own past. And there is enough of that they could have explored as well.
Yeah.
They kind of they had Xena sort of be jealous of Gabrielle's admiration of this guy and then just left it.
Yeah.
Without really explaining it anymore because it turns out she was wrong about her assumptions, but that's never explored.
Nope. Just left hanging.
Yeah, it's just...
And then it never gets picked up again because I don't recall Meleager showing up in any other episode.
No, they get weirdly dramatic about other stuff later.
During that fight scene in the market square was noticed where they were fighting and Gabrielle jumped after the swing had happened. So he had completed his swing, and then Gabrielle jumped. I was like, timing was off there.
Yeah. The fight choreography wasn't the greatest in this episode.
Then, so Meleager's found guilty, and everybody's ready for a lynch mob. We learned that the judge, Arbus...
Yeah, he's this really famous judge for being super fair in this one case, I guess.
Yeah. So.
And you know what? I'm going to say, he is the standout character in this episode because he does not come across as, obviously the bad guy at the start of the episode.
No.
Which is very unlike a lot of Xena's bad guys.
Yes. You can remember, you're not good.
Yeah.
You're the bad guy.
Yeah. So the person they had doing the judge in this was really, really good.
Yeah, because when you first watch that episode, you go in thinking that it's Meleager that's actually...
Yeah, I didn't even remember, so I was like, did he actually? Was he drunk? And then I was like, nah, he wasn't drunk. Somebody played it off. He was already killed before he got there. But,
So, Xena goes off to try and find evidence on Meleager and try to learn about who he killed,
who saw him,
find out everything like this.
Because there was an eyewitness. There's some lady who's a busybody who... It was weird the way they played her because they played her as the town gossip. But while she was telling the story, she was very clearly traumatized by the whole of it. And I just didn't know how to receive that.
Because she did. She comes running in, kicks people off the front throat of the gallows.
Yeah, with knitting needles.
Yep. And then gets called over to Arbus to be like, I'm so sorry and sad that another man has to die, but I saw what I saw and this is what happened.
Yeah, it was confusing. Again, the whole episode was just confusing.
And then you would think by now, after a year, and I would imagine a year and a half of traveling with Xena, that Gabrielle would trust Xena.
No, she didn't trust Xena at all. At all. And I do think that's actually kind of a theme this season. Is every bit of trouble they get into... She doesn't trust Xena at all. The trust just isn't there.
Not because when Xena goes in, listen, let me do some research, let me do some recon, go spend some time with your friend in case this is actually how it's going to go down, that he's going to go and get hung.
Yeah.
Right? Go spend time with your friend, I've got your back, I got you covered. Then Gabrielle goes and releases Meleager.
Yeah, she goes and frees him from jail. Which gets everybody into more trouble.
Because then, as Meleager leaves to go after the one-armed man. Sorry, it was a one-eyed man. Not one-armed. You go find your one-eyed man and get your justice.
Oh my god.
So Meleager runs. Gabrielle gets captured. They're trying to lynch her. And Xena wants to murder them all.
Literally all of them. Gabrielle is not excluded from this.
No. No. But you can clearly see, it was one of these things in this episode that I really like seeing from Lucy, is it how she portrayed Xena's look, that if you touch Gabrielle, if Gabrielle, anything happens to her,
Like, she was
Xena's
not happy
reverting.
with Gabrielle. She was not happy with Gabrielle, but she was like, if you touch her, I will hurt you.
Yeah.
Period.
So she then makes a deal with Arbus that she would bring back Meleager,
Mm-hmm.
but she's taking Gabrielle with her because she doesn't trust the town people.
Yeah, because they want blood.
A little bit. So they go off to chase Meleager into the woods. And he's going to this other place, and it seems like that's smart. That's where I go. Nobody would care about his past crimes. And all you hear from the back of Argo from Gabrielle is, "Run, Meleager, run!"
Oh my god.
And then they get to the edge of the woods that Meleager's...
He's not
Jumping
running
around.
very fast.
Well, no, he's an old man now.
Also, he's on foot and they're on horse.
But they see he's had enough of a distance to make it into the woods, so Xena has to get off Argo, and Gabrielle jumps in front of her to say, like, you have to go through me to get through to him. And I don't understand why.
Yeah, me neither. Like, that's what it doesn't make any sense. Like, she's got all of this, she's standing up so hard for this guy that she's only met one time.
Has heard many a stories about, but has only met one time, who has saved her village
One
with
time.
her help.
Yeah. One time.
So
But-
they end up capturing Meleager. And Xena admits that she has to bring Meleager back, because if she doesn't, not only will she get in trouble for that, they will take and put Gabrielle in his spot.
Yep.
And that makes Meleager stop and be like, you know what? No, I can't let somebody else pay for, especially Gabrielle. And that's when we learn his story of events where he was drunk and
He
it
didn't
absolutely
remember.
guts Gabrielle.
Yeah, because he was drunk and he doesn't remember doing anything, but he knows he had a bloody sword when he got up.
Yep. He had brought it to a cave and ran away. And
Then all of a sudden
interesting-
Gabrielle's like, oh, I'm the hurt victim here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry. Gabrielle made me angry this episode.
Understandably. So Xena learns more about Meleager, and Gabrielle is now not talking to him.
Of course not, because she's basically still a child.
Yeah. And the thing that gets me in this heart-to-heart with Xena from Gabrielle is she turns around and says, "Friends don't lie." Why doesn't that stay?
Friends don't lie. She says that to Xena.
Yeah.
She's the liest liar that ever lied up Lie Town in the next season.
Yeah, I was gonna say not yet, but yeah.
Like, all she does next season is lie and get Xena's life put in danger. Every single time. I mean, it's very frustrating. No, I am happy to admit that that does only last for one season,
Yes.
but it is still very frustrating.
So, back in town, Arbus sends his cronies to come and get Meleager.
Yeah.
And that's our door.
Okay, door's fine. We're good.
And so as they're heading back to town, Arbus's crony from a tree fires off 3 crossbow bolts
Yeah.
in quick succession.
Succession.
Thank you. Where Xena catches 2 in hand and 1 in mouth.
Yeah, the one in the mouth. That one killed me.
But then she jumps into the tree in a very Amazon style to be
Because
like,
she's not a demigod.
yeah, no, not at all. Where she then says, "You drop these," because she still held on to them.
Yeah. And then she pushes the guy out of the tree.
And then then hangs him from his armpits.
Yes. It's hilarious either way. The thing is that guy was going to just, like, kill Meleager.
Yep.
Outright.
Yeah. They didn't want to... His verdict was given. He's just handing out justice. And he was standing by that.
That's when Xena's like, okay, Arbus is sus.
Mm-hmm. But then we learn about the sword that's in the cave. So they're going to go to the cave. And we cut back to a scene where the crony goes back to Arbus and tries to explain that she's just too Xena as to why he failed.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, like that.
It's a fair explanation.
It's like
the woman caught an arrow with her teeth. Not just any arrow, a crossbow bolt. With her teeth.
So they go to the cave. They find out that that blade was one Xena had seen. And in another episode we skipped, which was very heavily Gabrielle, she was like, back when Gabrielle went to the Bard of Athens, to the Athens.
Bard Gabrielle is the worst Gabrielle. I stand firm behind this. Bard Gabrielle is the weakest of the Gabrielles.
We get finding out that Xena actually killed the dude that Meleager has been tried for.
Which was fairly obvious, actually, when he was telling Xena the story. Like, Xena knew instantly that Meleager hadn't killed anybody.
Yeah.
So, that's what kind of makes her super suspicious when Judge Arbus kind of keeps trying to harp on it without listening to any other evidence.
Yeah. And we learn that there's another eyewitness to Xena killing the dude. And she had him hiding in one of her own old hiding spots. So she goes to find him. And they leave Meleager and Gabrielle in a cave because now those two are talking again.
Sort of.
And Meleager asks Gabrielle to write down his will and testament where he's like, all these worldly possessions are little trinkets from towns I saved. They're, you know, worthless. And she's like, they're priceless to you. You carried them around this long. And he's like, whatever. Yes, you're right. They are priceless to me. And so all my worldly possessions I want to give to you.
Yeah, you're the only daughter I've ever really known, blah, 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 blah.
So, heartfelt moment, which just...
And doesn't make any sense.
Because again, you never hear about the dude.
No.
She never gets his possessions.
No.
Uh...
Spoiler alert, he doesn't die.
And then they get captured and brought back to town.
Yes.
Where they're going to hang Meleager.
Yes.
And Meleager's trying to tell Gabrielle, don't look. And she's like, no, I want the last face you see to be a friend.
Yeah, Gabrielle's in jail. Xena tries to get the other witness to come back to town, but he bails. He bails fast.
Because it's Arbus that he knows is a fake.
Yeah, because, the assassin was sent out. Like, the reason why Xena had to kill the other guy is because Arbus sent him out to kill that guy because he knew he was a fake with the big trial that he was the fair judge on.
Arbus fake. Duh, duh, duh.
Duh. Anyway, we don't know all of, we know all of this, but Gabrielle doesn't know all of this. Gabrielle's in jail. Meleager gets hung. Gabrielle watches it. But Xena is actually underneath the thing. Somehow, she managed to sneak in there.
She grabbed the executioner's spare cloak.
I mean, the fact that the executioner brought 2 cloaks and had to decide which one to use.
I really think that's the best one of, yes, he's gay. You can't see her, she's doing her hand. But the executioner, I feel, was the best part of the episode.
He was so good. He was so good. He didn't say a single solitary word, but he was so good.
He said that these are my comfy clothes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I'll be at the tavern.
That's right.
And so he pulls the lever, Meleager falls down, but he actually ends up
Landing
on
on
Xena's
Xena.
shoulders. And as Gabrielle's watching, and you're seeing from Gabrielle's viewpoint, if you knew the episode, you caught it. Because even his head did the little, like,
Yeah.
bob, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, you could tell that he didn't.
actually hang.
Yeah.
And then they go and confront Arbus as he's not dead.
Well, they pretend he's dead, but here's the thing: the executioner had to have been in on this a little bit because the executioner is supposed to call death, right? Like that's their whole job, to kill and then proclaim death. So
Yeah.
he would have had to say he was dead in order for them to stop hanging him in the first place,
Yeah.
and put him in the casket in order to confront Arbus because Arbus thought he was a ghost. Good times.
Because, Arbus, over the casket. Cause of death? Justice.
Yeah. All I could think of was Sam the Eagle. Business. It is the American way. Business.
And I swear everybody knew that the executioner was the best part of this episode because even the disclaimer, by popular demand, the executioner will bring back his comfortable lightweight cotton flax blend robe in a variety of spring colors.
It didn't happen. I'm still disappointed about it because this was 20 years ago and I'd like it to have happened.
Right? Overall, I gave it like a 5 because I can't.
Yeah, I gave it 4.5. It was not a good episode. It was just. I mean, I know Xena is built off of a Monster of the Week kind of like thing, but then focus.
Yeah, there was too many loose strings.
Like focus. Like even with the Velasca, it was like very clear. Velasca want power, want kill Gabrielle. That's it.
Yeah.
And they did that for 3 episodes, and it was fine. You don't need, like, alcoholism and, like, lying and judge corruption and assassins.
It was a lot in one episode that wasn't executed properly.
It wasn't executed well. And, like, the character, like, Gabrielle's character was harmed in this episode.
It was.
So.
Because all the progress that she had made in season 1 and most of season 2 has been basically destroyed.
It wasn't destroyed, but it was, like, thrown out the window for this episode. Just tossed.
This
Like,
should have been
this
like
episode-
a season 1 episode.
That would have made more sense because the way she just refused to trust Xena at all to me was just it wasn't Gabrielle.
No. Because it's Xena. She knows Xena.
Yeah.
She's traveled with Xena for 1.5 years now.
Yeah.
It's her best friend. Quotation marks.
Yeah.
They're
All I
just
can
roommates.
think of is the episode, like the next
That
episode
next
we're going to
episode.
talk about because there's a lot of.
Ooh, buddy. Because that's all that's coming in my head too, right?
I was like, wait, that wasn't this episode. That's the next one. But anyway, that's this episode. It wasn't great, so it's just a short little chit chat about it. Not really anything to bring home, except it didn't quite fit tonally.
No.
I mean, the next episode doesn't fit tonally either, but it does feel a little bit more simplified
Yes.
and kept in order. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, the execution is one we could have skipped because
Yeah,
nothing really great happened on it.
no.
But am I glad I watched it? Yeah, because I'm going to be glad I watched Xena.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, if you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at astheshotcometurns@gmail.com, or you can find us on social media with astheshotcometurns. Just pick one. See if we're there.
Yeah.
Don't pick Facebook. We're not on Facebook.
No.
Is anybody good on Facebook?
Question for our listeners.
Yeah. Yeah, just let us know.
And if you end up watching it, let us know what you think.
Alright. Till next time.
Bye.